I received a question from somebody and asking me about leaving their job. And so I was going to respond to the question, which I think is a great question, but I felt like I just did a podcast episode, so I'm still on the mic. And so I felt like doing a quick, I guess I'll call this a bonus episode of Career Convos with Nikki, because I feel like this is a question that a lot of people might have, or they might come across this situation in their careers. So let's talk about it. The question I got was, should I still give notice if I leave a job because of a toxic workplace? There's so much that can be said here, but as a manager, as somebody who has been on both sides of the table as both an employee and a manager, my perspective is yes. You should still give notice if you're leaving a job because the workplace is toxic. Because here's the thing, don't let a toxic workplace dictate how you carry yourself, right? Handle professional situations with grace, no matter what, for a few reasons. First, when you leave a job, most likely somebody is coming into that job after you. So don't make their onboarding experience harder just because of what you had going on. In fact, you should be wanting to make it easier for them because they're about to be dealing with the same problems that pushed you out the door. And so they might not know it yet, but they might see soon enough what they're going to be dealing with in this toxic workplace. The other thing is, once you allow the toxic workplace to rub off on you and impact your behavior, you'll carry that in some aspect over into a new role. And worse, over into your personal life. Like, how many times have you complained to a friend or to a family member about the fuckery that you're dealing with at work? So now you're spreading that negativity that you're trying to get away from. And who's to say the friend or the family member that you're talking to, now it's going to have them thinking about what they have going on at work, or they might start spreading that negative energy to other people. So don't, a toxic workplace impacts you in more ways than you initially think about. And on the same note, I mean, I know you got some small words that you want to say to your manager. I know you want to send an email on your last day. I know you want to cuss somebody out, but are you willing to degrade your brand over it? It's really not worth anything, and it won't make a difference because the leadership in a toxic workplace, they already know that their workplace is toxic. They're just not doing anything about it because they have warm bodies and seats. So a toxic work environment permeates the ecosystem of a business. It shows in not only how the company treats their employees, but through interactions with customers, even how they pay their bills. So, okay, so the job didn't turn out to be what you thought it was. You wound up working for a manager that shouldn't have been the manager that you feel like you could run circles around. It happens. And that's okay because there's no perfect workplace. And so the things I want you to take away from this career Q&A is that don't let a bad work environment define you. Being in a toxic work environment is a reminder for you to be more selective in the jobs that you choose. Because even though you're in this horrible environment, you have to own the fact that you could have did some more diligence and asked the right questions and probably could have got some of these insights before you took the job. Also, don't take a job out of convenience because it pays more, because it's closer. I mean, everything is negotiable. Everything is negotiable. And I'm going to do a whole separate episode about that. And lastly, preserve your brand. Even if you don't like your coworkers, even if you don't like the manager or whatever, all it takes is a hot second to destroy a reputation that you have spent years trying to build. So don't buy into the pettiness. Like I said before, you might want to send that email and cuss everybody out and, stick your chest out and say what you've been wanting to say for the last 2 years in this job. But it's not worth it. You doing that is not going to have the management all of a sudden saying, oh, yeah, we need to do something about this, or this needs to get better. All it's going to do is leave a sour taste in their mouths about you. The industries that you work in are not as big as you think they are. Specifically, the accounting industry is not as big as we think they are. And I'm sitting here thinking about some situations where I've had these types of interactions with people, and then years have gone by, and somehow or another, I know somebody that knew them, and things come back around full circle. So you have to develop the ability to work with people that you don't like. But that's a deeper conversation and another conversation for another episode. And this was a another question I got, which I'll preview it now, but I'm gonna do a separate career Q&A about this one. The question was almost like a two-part question to this one is, what if an interviewer asks you why you're leaving the job? Would you say that it's because of a toxic work environment, or would you say something else? So I'm going to leave that for another conversation for another day. But we absolutely had to talk about these toxic work environments and how to navigate your way through it without catching a case or something. Because I know how it can be, and just take that energy that you got pent up for this job, let it go, take some time to come down from it, and then just start fresh in your new role. So that's it for now. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, and let's catch up on another episode of Career Convos with Nikki. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you have your own career question that you want me to answer, you can email it to me, Nikki, Nikki, at nickWinstonCPA.com. You can also hit me up on LinkedIn like this person did for this message. Also on IG, but if it comes through my inbox, I'm more likely to see it. So hit me up there. Make sure you tell your coworkers and tell your friends that you are tuned into Career Convos with Nikki. And let's keep this conversation going. I'll talk to y'all soon.